Do you know, I was just writing down some of our memories and I was like, oh, some of them might be Patreon only stories.
Well, mate, that's
But,
the beauty of Patreon. Also, mate, for people who don't know, Marcus Pearce, long-time friend of mine, over 20, maybe 25 years, something like that, and former journalist, now life coach, guru, dad, husband, good guy. How are you, mate?
Mate, that's very kind of you. Guru, gee whiz, that's a bit scary. Don't gurus have Netflix documentaries made of them exposing all of their private lives?
It's true, mate, but if you're being exposed on Netflix, you've got money in the bank.
Yeah, like Mr. Bikram and a few of the...
Oh, mate, Bikram had a good life. I mean, I don't think Bikram would be, if you're talking to Bikram at the end of his life and go, would you change anything, Bikram? I don't think he'd change too much.
There's a few docos on Netflix I'm just too scared to watch. Just a bit too scared to watch.
Like what?
The one about the... Again, I don't. This will sound almost racist,
of course.
but
Just
one
remember, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. No, anything you say, well, we can just, if you want it taken out retrospectively, you just tell me, man.
Yeah,
real
no
easy.
worries. No worries. Now, you know, one of those gurus with the long grey beard, and it's like a series of 6 or 7, and it all went pear-shaped. You know, everyone loved him, and then either people died or bad things happened, and it's like it's personal growth gone way, way over the top. Way over the top.
Yeah. And mate, you were touching on stories. You know, I think the jumping off point was Windows 95. Did something trigger a memory?
Well, we all got remember, so you and I met when we were, what, was it year 9 or year 7?
I actually met you, not properly, but you went to a tennis tournament with Rob Lopresti. And
we met.
and you were supporting Rob at a tournament. For those who don't know, Rob is a tennis friend of mine, and we later became school buddies and mates. But I remember seeing you, and I was in year 7, and you were at a tennis tournament wearing a country road jumper. I believe it was blue.
Oh, that's the best.
And I thought,
you seriously remember?
I do. It was a Dingley Tennis Club.
Oh my gosh.
And you walked through. You're a very handsome kid, which, and I can say that because I was a kid myself, so I can really indulge in how much you turned me on. But but yeah, mate. And then we became friends.
We became undercut buddies, I reckon. I think we both had a beautiful undercut together during those formative years.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, mate, we are going to jump in, and what we're going to do for the listeners today, it's a bit of a different episode for the Ash Williams Show. More of just an episode for COVID times, because I think, Marcus, you can impart some tips for the great crew, which is my family here at the Ash Williams Show, and we're gonna cherry pick that from you, if that's okay.
Let's do it.
And also, we're going to do a Q&A at the end.
Ask me anything you want.
Let's keep it porous, bro.
Yep.
You can ask me anytime you want. Anytime you want to digress, feel free, mate. Because what is really interesting about you, Marcus, is that you were a prodigy producer in every sense of the word. Okay, TV, radio. You were the youngest ever executive producer for Channel 9's AFL Footy Show.
Gee whiz.
And you were well on your way to becoming the most illustrious TV producer in the land. And you gave it all away to follow love.
For love. Gave it up for love.
And business. Because you've always loved your business, and you've always been a go-getter, and you obviously that whets your appetite. But mate, do you obviously you don't regret it, but do you ever look at Gwyneth Paltrow and sliding doors and think, what would I be doing if I followed that path?
Mate, I love sliding doors. I talk about it all the time. You and I could riff on sliding doors, I reckon, for hours. But I feel like, and I'd love to see what all of the listeners and the viewers say, but I reckon you've got a lot of those doors over the course of your life, I still feel like I'm still doing media work today. I'm sure you feel like you're doing media work. Obviously, you're featured in the mainstream media regularly, but I feel like I just transitioned from sports media to personal growth media. I think live events are like live TV. I loved being on the footy show because it was live. I don't know about you, but like pre-recorded TV was just slow and hard work. I think we've both said that live radio is the bee's knees because it's adrenaline on steroids, if there is such a thing. But I don't have regrets. No, I just never wanted to lose that time of my life. So when I'm doing podcasts, it's radio. When I'm doing events, it's TV. When I'm doing emails and blogs, it's print. I don't miss reporting on strained hamstrings and torn ACLs. What I found hard was, Wayne Carey cheats on his wife, or something terrible happens in people's lives, and then having to dig and chase ambulances was the unsavory part of it.
Yeah, and
how do you find chasing ambulances? I mean, it's a bit of an interesting.
Mate, if that's the dream. If you're chasing ambulances, you've got a job. I would happily take that job. Sadly, a lot of the ambulance chasers are now out of work. Some of the greatest ambulance chasers in the industry,
yes,
are this microphone's playing up a bit. Are
you coming through loud and clear?
Are now they're out of business.
Yeah, some of them I went to university with.
Oh yeah. No, you can name names here, mate.
Yeah, no, I know, but some people just it riles them. But
Julian De Stoop.
Yes, De Stooper, I did go to uni with.
That's a good guess.
It was a year ahead, but the one I was more thinking of because he went international.
I've got it. No, I've got it. The guy from no. Dylan Howard.
Dylan Howard
From the Geelong Addy.
That's right. Dylan Howard's got the chop. He's been the head honcho at National Enquirer, I think, in the States. Done a lot of, without. Again, I don't see Dylan. I don't have any contact with him. Haven't had for years, almost decades. But there was a lot of, not allegations. What's the word? He was seen to be on the side of Weinstein and even on the side of Trump. And it's like we could look at people that we went to school with, and I'm sure people that are listening and watching this think the same things. Like the people that you went to school with or uni with that have gone on to live these very different lives. Some of them controversial, some of them you never see again, some of them you bump into randomly, like at a school reunion, and you just forget their names. But yes, Dylan Howard he did lose his job.
Did he lose his job?
As part of this coronavirus.
Oh, he'll get it back though. That guy is a proper hustler. I watch him doing his, he's always got an expose on some shit. And I look at him on the TV and I think, he looks 10 years older than us. Why does he look so old? He's our age. He's always very serious too with the glasses, and he's got the suit that's done up to his eyeballs. And just touching on that, we used to, because I was a guest on your show, the Sin FM sports show. What was it called, Marcus?
Oh my gosh, that was with Alicia Gorey, now Alicia Loxley.
Loxley from Channel 9 News.
Jeepers.
And it was you and Alicia, and I used to come on
right.
as a guest. And guess who also used to call in? Dylan Howard from the Geelong Addy.
Oh, that's hilarious. Your memory is off the charts. I don't remember I remember the Country Road Top when I was 13. I don't remember our first initiation together. You remember? I don't even remember the name of that show. I'm going to have a guess because I don't know if this is right. Would it have been called something like White Line Fever? I mean,
possibly.
That's just an idea, a name I could come up with. I cannot believe that I had complete amnesia that we actually had a radio show featuring Alicia Loxley and Dylan Howard.
You know what prompted that memory, Marcus? It was the Dylan Howard from the Geelong Addy.
That's hilarious. What else do you remember about my life that I have no idea about?
Yeah, it's exactly. I'm like Ed Harris on the Truman Show.
It's so good. But, you know what? No one ever talks about you. Can I just flip the script for a second,
please? Because
we're talking media. I don't think people have an understanding enough of how much you spoke about Dylan Howard being a hustler. I don't think people understand how much you have hustled. You have Gary V'd hustled and ground your way to superstardom over a good, I'm big into 7-year cycles. You have done a good 2 cycles of 7 to be where you are, hustling your way through. You haven't just arrived overnight. You're an overnight success, decades in the making. Do you ever tell your backstory? Do you ever, I know there's a bit of, I went to LA and I did this and all the rest of it, but you've held on to this dream for many years, great man. It's not just a little idea that you've had.
You're going to make me emotional, Marcus. You know, no, but mate, it's always been the dream. I've got the worst audio for some reason, mate. Is that feeding back on you at all or not?
Oh, no, I'm good. It might be your internet or your something.
Just 2 shakes.
You're loud as clear up here.
And how's that? It's maybe this is what it is. Look, bro, I remember I was in bed one time and we'd had a big night, me and the aforementioned Rob Lepresti, and we were about 20 years old upstairs at my mum's place, and we'd been at Revolver. Jen. And
this is going to get messy really quickly. This is going downhill at a rate of knots.
And I remember Rob was studying physio or whatever he was doing, and he was like, "What are you going to do with your life?" And I was like,
"These are the questions you ask after a night at Revolver."
I know, right? And you know, it was 10 a.m., sun beating down. We had the blinds pulled. And he was on that little fold out that you used to sleep on, Marcus. Remember in my bedroom? And
I do.
You still have the record for the stats on that fold out. I don't know how you did it. But and then I said to Rob, I said, you know what? I want to do a show like Rove, something like that. And then Rob said, yeah, you should be Rove. And then that was kind of like, yeah, cool. Because, I mean, that analogy doesn't hold up anymore. But back in the day, he was killing it. He was killing it.
Rove was killing it.
Yeah. You know, it's more about just having your own show and, you know, letting
having
people
guests,
in that way.
having guests and talking about life in a humorous way. Because, you know, in Corona land, people need humor more than they ever have. The role of someone like yourself, I was having a listen to one of your podcasts before I came on, and I went out to my beautiful Sarah and said, I'm a little bit nervous going on to Ash's podcast because I've been busting my ass laughing the last half an hour. But if we start talking about some of the things that we could talk about, we could both become very exposed very quickly. And we need that. I think we need that humor more than ever. We need to be more, you know, we need a laugh.
You do. And the great thing about being exposed is, and maybe you can appreciate this, there's so much white noise at the moment, and people always think, oh, you know, I'm not going to tell that story because, you know, I'll be castigated in this way and that way. No one cares. There's too much. People are so egotistical. No one cares. Tell your stories. We've got enough stories coming in the next 5 minutes. So get it out. So you were 20. You're now, and a recent, I don't know if you gave yourself a pump up enough, a recent happy birthday. Thank you, bro. For the last, well, what is it? Last day of March. Last day of March? Still last day of March? Yeah, well done, mate. Still the last day of March. Yeah, bro. 38. So that's a dream, 18 years. That was 39th coming up. Yeah, that's 18 years ago. You were having those post-Revolver conversations. Yeah, but you've got to evolve, and the goalposts move, and it's, you know, I'm really happy with the place I'm in at the moment because I can see where, you know, I've got to pass the footy. To use an AFL analogy, the goalposts are there. They're not going to move anymore. They might move a bit, but I'm on the wing. Okay? What, you used to want to be at full forward, kicking all the goals? Well, sometimes you're thinking about torping it from full back, like an Aus kick. When you can, you know, because like, you know, my brother I remember I used to watch my brother at Auskick, and he kicked one morning, he kicked 5 torpedoes from fullback, 4 goal. Even then I was aware that was insane. And I remember saying to mum in the car, we used to drive a Mitsubishi Sigma, and I said, shouldn't it be harder to score a goal from fullback? But mum didn't really appreciate the question. But mate, yeah. So, you know, you've just got to you understand that it's about passing the ball to yourself throughout life so that you can be in a good position to kick it through the goals.
Yeah, and shifting it around. I mean, I feel like I'm in my third career, you know, TV, radio land, then in wellness land, and now in more personal growth, longevity land. But it changes, and people our age, and people listening that are maybe older or younger, gone are the days where you live the same life for 40 years. I mean, I don't know about you, but gee, shoot me now.
Dude, of course, mate. But you're also living 3 or 4 vocations concurrently.
Yeah.
So, and as you say, you're still using your media training because so many vocations now are conflated within each other, and you're going to use all of those skills.
What's your favorite hat to wear in your business professional? Do you love being on TV? Do you love being on the stage? Do you love being behind the mic in your jocks with a t-shirt on? You know, like
I've got to tell you, bro, I love podcasting.
Yeah.
I really do because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that easy to be good at it. I'm just lucky that I'm good at it. And because everything's got to be in. I think you mentioned radio training, that the early radio training sets you up for a career in podcasting or TV, because if you're doing commercial radio, everything needs to be a yes. So the more open you are with your material, the better position you're going to be. So, and podcasting is like yes on steroids.
Yeah.
You know, there's not many
and the
stories.
cross skills, all of the skills that you have to learn. Like you were paneling at Nova.
Yep.
You know, I was producing at Sport 927. You were paneling, but you were also producing and presenting. Well, you're not, didn't you end up with your own show, pushing the buttons on your own show, having to produce a whole show?
Well, that's how I started. Yeah, that's how I started.
But that's how a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to just, I just want to be on camera. It's like, well, no, you kind of got to learn you got to do a lot of the dirty work, you know, before you actually get, you know, behind the mic or on camera. You've got to have that appreciation of doing all of this stuff that essentially no one else is going to do.
100%, bro. You know what it's like. You've got to get yourself in the building and then you can hopscotch around. But I think too, media back 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, very different to now. Now you can actually, you know, make your own path and go about it that way.
So if Rove is no longer, what about Kimmel? What about Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon? What's the other guy? Karaoke in the car?
James Corden. Yeah, look, man, I think you build your Transformer or Power Ranger, and there's different elements of each personality that you like, and you've got to know yourself too. You've got to. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm very different. I know what I want to bring, and I know what I'm trying to do. And podcasting is great for that. And then what I use podcasting for, Pearcey, is I cherry pick narratives and stories from that and then parlay that into stand-up.
Yep.
So it's basically like
all the content.
It's a conveyor belt, and it keeps me sharp and awake to material throughout the week. Because if you're like, if you are only doing stand-up, you're going to atrophy during this time.
Oh, all the gigs are gone, baby.
Well, also, there's no push for the content. There's no urgency. And I see a massive opportunity in podcasting right now anyway. I mean, this is it. Yeah. So I'm lucky that I've got an audience, and hopefully they can, you know, propagate
there's no doubt podcasting is, and again, we both come from commercial radio backgrounds, but I'm so much happier being in podcast land than being in commercial radio land, because I don't know about you, but I'm fussy. I just want to consume what I want to consume. The last thing I want to do is turn on the radio. The kids are screaming at the moment. They're normally demanding the Wiggles or Yo Gabba Gabba. But the last thing I want to do is just turn on the radio when I get in the car and just see what's on. I want to listen to what I want to listen to. I want to listen to the Ash Williams show. I want to listen to whatever's going. But that's the best part of it. You know,
mate. Absolutely. And, mate, you used to be the breakfast radio producer for Kevin KB Bartlett. Now, mate...
Oh, yeah, go on.
Go on. What have you got?
Well, do you remember, you spoke about Revolver earlier. Do you remember those days of we'd go out to make Silvers on a Thursday night and we'd finish at 4 o'clock, and then I'd have to be at work at 5 o'clock for a 5:30 start, and I'd be like, I think I'll just go straight into work.
I don't know how you did it, bro. And then you used to go and produce KB. For people who aren't in Victoria, KB is a legend. Mate, do you have any funny stories about KB? How was he to work with?
Oh, he is a legend.
And also, sorry, Marcus, you weren't just a producer; you were his executive producer.
Was I? No. I was only young. We were only young. I was like 19 or 20.
Yeah, but Marcus, you were high up. You were high.
But I was an underling. But here's what I remember, based on those, Revolver Silver chats. Kev, I don't think has ever had a drop of grog in his life. And when you're that age and you think that you'll just act sober, like
yes,
I swear to God, I probably did that Friday morning shift drunk, probably, I don't know, 10, maybe 20 times. I shudder to even think about it. But I wonder how stupid I was for him and anyone else there to think that I hadn't had a night on the gas. Like, how could you go to work when you're 20 after a big night, considering our pre-drinks and our special times, which I don't know if you've ever shared the pre-drinks album that is on Spotify with your tribe, but if you want to give people a real insight, yeah, it's on there.
Did you put it on there? One of our
friends, Tegan, she found it and listened to the CD, for those of you that remember what CDs were, and found all of the songs, put on Spotify. I've got the playlist. I'll share it with you, and I think it might be a Patreon only. But do you want me to tell you what songs are on there? I could give you some memories.
Well, let's just recap it for the listeners. So my mum used to work night shift as a nurse, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So all the boys used to come over Tuesday, Thursday night, and we'd go out usually to Room or Silvers, which is the clubs, institutions in Melbourne. And we thought we'd accompany our pre-drinks with a pre-drinks album to get us fired up. So I think we had 2 or 3 incarnations of it, Pearcey.
Yeah, I think we had 3 albums. I actually think there were 3 albums, but we've only got memories of one. I've only got 16 songs.
Okay, I'm going to try and guess some of the songs.
Okay, all right. Do you have sound effects? We definitely need a Sale of the Century.
I've got this.
Maybe it's pretty average, but all right, go on. There's a few real one-hit wonders and unknowns in here, but go on. You're on, ready to rock and roll.
Well, I'm going to start with a tough one.
Yeah.
All Bound for Moo Moo Land. Is it KGB?
That's the KLF, and yes, correct. Justified and Ancient.
Okay.
Stand by the Jams, the KLF.
Also, that was your input. I remember we used to have meetings over the phone, pre-Zoom. The night before pre-drinks, we would get on the home phone and have
the Nokia 7210.
No, PC. I remember being on the. I was on the home phone, and I remember having.
Oh yeah, you're on the 98094459.
That's the old number of Mum's place, and I remember having very long and robust discussion with you that went for 2 or 3 hours, and we would go through the song list and make sure that it was the right vibe.
See, these are the things people can be doing right now during Corona, is putting a fair degree of detail and effort into their playlists, because it's very important, particularly if you are enjoying a drink. The song choice it's epic. And the timing, like the order of the list, what comes on first, what's in the middle, what comes on at the end. I just want I think the song that I have on here at the end, that Tegan has very kindly made, I actually think that was the last song.
Oh,
can you remember what the last song was? I can play it. I can play it.
Let me just try and get through a couple here.
Okay.
Gigolo was it Frank Sinatra?
Just a Gigolo. That was Bonacera. What's his name? Louis. Come on.
I remember you used to force everyone to listen to that, and I finally got into it. Like after a while, I was like, you know what? This is actually a great song.
Yeah, I can't believe he's.
I'll play a snippet for people right now.
Yeah, I'm just a gigolo.
I'm just a gigolo everywhere I go. And then, of course, you've got the classics. You've got Sonia Dada, Milli Vanilli, which was arguably
Milli Vanilli. I've gone way. I've listened to this album too many times. I cannot bear another. I'm gonna miss you, but Milli Vanilli, I'm gonna miss you is in there.
Do you remember that?
You can't listen to this album too many times. It actually begins to grate on you a little bit.
Do you remember we were in a cab one time and you sent the lyrics of Milli Vanilli to a girl?
Oh, no. Oh, I do. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. The memories. It was a text message of the lyrics of Milli Vanilli, and she thought I was going to commit suicide.
Yeah, she thought you were going to end it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That is scary. It's scary that you
Yeah.
remember. It's scary that I did it. And it's scary that it was so far from the actual truth.
Oh, we couldn't have been more fired up. We were in the back of a taxi. Do you remember when you used to give me, this would go on Patreon. Remember we called Yana Pittman, the sprinter?
Yeah. I've still got phone numbers in my phone. I'd love to know what numbers people have in their phone from years ago, but I still have numbers in my phone that are so old. And then I go, oh, that's right. That was an Olympian. Or, that was this, that was that. Even just now, I've just got Christy Malthouse. It's like, Christy. That'd be dangerous.
Malthouse.
Imagine if we had a look at some of the names in here that are just Alicia Molik. There's a few in here that are just literally 20 years old. Andrew Bensley, Andrew Dimitru, Andrew Gaze. Like, it's dangerous. And given that a lot of those numbers are so old now, but who goes through their phones and deletes contact like that as if they unfriend people on Facebook? It's just useless.
Also, it's not as dangerous anymore. We're not 20 years old going out drinking 2 litres of vodka and catching cabs around and then saying, who can we call? And I remember when we called Yana Pittman, she was at her peak. I think she would just run some... she's just world champ.
Well, it would have been in the lead up to the Athens Olympics. It would have been like 2002, 2003. Yeah, she would have been on. Oh, you know what I'm thinking? Actually, I'll tell you when I think it was, because I was at SEN when it started. I helped create the run home, the afternoon drive show.
Of course, with Dermy, Hutto, and...
It was Dermot Breton, Anthony Hudson, and Matthew Hardy.
Yep.
The great Matthew Hardy. And
the great Matthew Hardy.
The great Matthew Hardy. And we had... on the first day, we wanted to obviously, hit it out of the ballpark. So we had Wayne Carey on. The two that I really remember, Wayne Carey and Yana Pittman. It was kind of like SEN has arrived. Look at all the stars. And so that would have been, I'm tipping, that would have been 2004. We would have gone out one night in 2004 and the number would have been on my phone. Oh, that's embarrassing. Bit sad, bit funny at the time.
You know what, bro? It really is. It's so great to connect with you because we've got so many great memories. And I'm just going to touch on one more. Matthew Hardy, do you remember New Year's Eve? We were at your boss's place, Rod.
Rod Law with Craig Hutchison.
Yeah, Rod Law. And it was 10 minutes to midnight. It's New Year's Eve. Okay, 11:50. Matthew Hardy says, I'm out of here. Not feeling the vibe. I said to him, I go, bro, do you know what time it is? 10 more minutes. Have a firework, drink, kiss, and then leave. He goes, nah. Didn't say goodbye to anyone.
That is so hard.
Jumped the fence in Yarraville, and then I saw him walking off to the train station. And he spent New Year's Eve on his own at Yarraville train station. I think I waved to him at midnight.
And didn't I vomit? Didn't I spew all over Rod Law's couch or something? And I just remember Hutchie or you or we didn't we leave together? Anyway, it was did not hold the night well.
Great times. And mate, I just want to touch on this too. Kevin Bartlett, I used to date is maybe a strong term, but I'd say date. I dated his daughter for a bit.
Is that right? Which one? Because I know he had a few kids. Which daughter?
Did he? The youngest one.
There's Rhett, his son, and then
the youngest
more
one.
than 2 kids.
Yeah, the youngest one. But anyway, that's enough.
More than 2 kids.
She was a good chick. She was a good chick. One that got away. Now, PC, we do need to we're going to get your 5 Corona tips.
Yeah, we haven't really got to the point yet, have we? But we never finished our pre-drinks album.
Oh, we didn't. Sorry, mate. Let's get back to it. Milli Vanilli, Robbie Williams' Angels.
Is that on here? I don't think that was on this album. So, but it was in there on a previous edition.
Well, there must be a Robbie Williams feel. There's always a Robbie Williams.
Oh, no, Angels is in there. Sorry, no, Angels is in there. It's in there.
It's Janet Jackson, it's in between. All For You.
Oh, my gosh. How do you do this?
I just know. Yep. I know the playlist.
Yep. Go on.
Now it's getting tough, bro. I got to
Okay.
tell you. Because
I can give you an artist and you can give me the song.
Oh, please.
But that's probably a bit too easy.
Go on.
I don't reckon you'll get this one. Bee Gees. Because it's an unknown song. It's a little known song. I don't know if it'll play if I play it, but yeah. This is Where I Came In by the Bee Gees.
Oh, yeah, no. This is a Pearcey. This has got your signature all over it. You were really pushing for this in the...
I think this was Greg Monahan, wasn't it? Was this me?
Nah, it's you, bro. Because I was telling you people aren't going to be into it, and then you sold it to me.
Well, maybe that's why it's track one, because no one's listening at the time and no one's actually had a drink yet.
Do you know what was fantastic? Because you and I were, like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, we would come up with a playlist, and then we would essentially get market research in the moment. And I remember we'd look at each other to see how the crowd was getting into it, because we had about 5 to 10 people, and we wouldn't tell anyone about the new playlist. And I remember the Bee Gees, This Is Where I Came In, it flopped a bit. I remember saying, I told you it wasn't going to take off.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much of a winner. All right, here we go. Atomic Kitten.
Oh, Atomic Kitten, yeah. Looking back on when we
first met. That's it. All right. CDB. I can't believe this
groove tonight.
That made it. Good song. But don't know if it was our
Did not deserve
culture.
To be there.
I don't know if it was the culture
we
of
must
our
have been,
night.
What track?
That was track 5. Track
Way
6,
too early.
The Beach Boys. Definitely a Greg Monahan. Hello to our good mate Greg Monahan. The Beach Boys.
By the way, mate, this is definitely like our pre-drinks album 2 or album 3. I remember the original album.
Well, this says it's number 3. This says it's number 3.
Yeah, it is.
And it was called It's an Addiction.
Yeah, because we're clutching at songs in this. I mean, the fact that CDB got in there, there's some real anomalies.
Good point. Yep. Lenny Kravitz again.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Mr. Big got in there. So if that was number 3, I don't know. Maybe this is a bit of a best of.
Oh, sorry, mate. Mr. Big. That was the biggest song, pardon the pun,
it was almost,
of the night.
Yeah.
Always. That was the song.
Bob Dylan, Things Have Changed. I think that might have been me. That was a bit of a new song. It's still a great song.
Still good.
Big Audio Dynamite. That was starting to grate on me a little bit.
Yeah, it's still decent. It's very similar to Moo Moo Land. But like it.
Moo Moo, yeah. Robert Palmer. Who would have gone for Robert Palmer?
I think that's you again. Simply you.
No, that's Greg Monahan. That's Mona.
Yeah, maybe Monahan got in again.
Yeah. And then another Bee Gees, Walking on Air. If that was me, I apologise. And then to finish off with, can you remember the Beatles?
No.
Hello, Goodbye.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, this is like the 3rd album. It's not
clutching,
it's
major
just
clutching.
Swinging and missing. It's like a baseball going for home runs.
Can you ask Jen if album 1 or 2 are lying around?
It will be around, because what's great about pre-drinks, PSC, is that, everyone was involved except my mum, of course. And my younger brother got involved too. He was in year 11 or year 10, and he would come over with his friends. Jeez, they used to drink a bit.
Dangerous.
They put us to shame. I'm like, guys, have a
water.
water.
It got so dangerous. Far out.
No, it really was.
We better end the conversation.
It was a dangerous time, but fond memories.
Yeah.
And now, mate, just to let people know what you're up to now, because you obviously had the career progression to you were doing wellness, chiropractic stuff, and now you're doing more life coach stuff, and you're an illustrious life coach. You do seminars and all the stuff around the world. How's that going?
Yeah, that's good. I just can't go anywhere around the world at the moment.
No.
Can't go anywhere, but I do go to a little Greek island called Ikaria. There's a great magazine some people know called National Geographic. They found 5 places in the world where people live longer than everyone else, and one of them is a beautiful Greek island called Ikaria, known as the island where people forget to die. And then, the rich and famous go to Sardinia to have their great big annual trips. Well, they can't do that at the moment either, but there's 13 little villages of farmers and the like that live where men, how women tend to live longer than men?
Mm.
Well, in this little area of Sardinia, men actually live longer than women.
Whoa.
And people want to know why. So we're due to go there in August. Just toss of a coin at the moment whether we'll get there or not. But when the world is normal, I do run these longevity experiences, because I figured out, you and I have done our fair share of personal growth and pondering over the years. But like my thing about personal growth is, why do some people live these great lives and others live quote unquote mediocre lives? And even people that go to personal growth events are like, yeah, I turned over $5 million in my business, but then, you know, their marriage falls apart, or they're too busy to see their friends, or they get fat or whatever. And it's like, there's like, without going too deep and meaningful on you here, like, life's so brutal. You can't just be awesome at one thing. You actually have to be awesome at all 8 areas of your life in order to have a great life. Because if you're awesome at your career, but you suck at your friends, or you suck at your friendships, or you're awesome at your wealth, but you eat crap, like, it just all goes pear-shaped. So a lot of my messaging is on, I don't want to scare people into the consequences of having mediocre areas of life, but at the same time, people tend to know it when I share it with them. But yeah, a lot of my work is helping people. This sounds really corny, but it's still dad joke central. I help people go from mediocre to magnificent in all areas of their life, and not just one, because if they get good at one thing, karma bus will come to hit them quick smart.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the silver lining of COVID-19. Hopefully people are shining a light on, you know, some of the family stuff and things that they took for granted. It's a real chance to catch up in that department.
Yeah, good point. It's amazing. I thought my kids would kill each other by now, but actually more in love with each other than I could have ever imagined. So it's amazing what a little isolation will do for the soul. But, you know, there are a lot of people that have been forced into unemployment, or have got major choices to make around their career, or having a bit more home time. They've got a bit more time to focus on their health, or listen to the Ash Williams show and just enjoy, like, have a bit more of a laugh. You imagine how serious some people's lives are. This is a great time to have a laugh, watch a movie that you wouldn't normally watch, get outdoors if you're allowed to, and go for a walk, go to the beach if you're allowed to. Where I am, I'm allowed to go to the beach. You can't go to the beach, can you?
I can now. It's just opened up in Bondi. Yeah.
Oh, good on them.
And mate, just quickly too, you often talk about 100 not out, and do you still talk about that, reaching the age 100 and how people can live longer?
Yep. We've had that podcast for 7+ years. We just did episode 369, I think.
Wow.
So, you know, why do Holocaust survivors live to 100? You know, why does someone whose life has been full of challenge live a great long life? How does a 68-year-old climb Everest? How does an 84-year-old do an Ironman triathlon? You know, how does a 93-year-old man win bodybuilding contests? You know, just, I'm all about defying the, you know, what the social beliefs around aging. A lot of them are just so wrong. But, you know, I was a raging vegan for 7 years, and I thought being a vegan was the holy grail of the fountain of youth and living a great life, but that was just, sincerely wrong. So I think it's important that we recognize that life isn't as simple as you are what you eat and family comes first, and, you know, do what you love. It's nowhere near as simple as that. So I just like to, help people navigate through those complexities.
Yep. And, you know, why you're so great at it is because you love doing it and you care about people. So that's, because, you know, a lot of people, what you know what I find funny, and I reckon there's a joke in this, Pearcey.
Yeah.
Why do so many people whose lives are falling apart become life coaches?
Oh, this is a belter. This is like why are so many people that meditate cockheads, pardon my French.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing about the world. Often you're pushing my buttons here, Ash, but often people find it easier. We all do. I think it's human nature. We find it easier to help other people than help ourselves. But my whole thing about, you know, I don't even call myself a coach. I call myself a mentor, because I only want to help people on stuff that either I've experienced myself or I can appreciate or have some level of compassion in. Like, I'm not going to mentor a Holocaust survivor. You know, I'm going to get mentored by a Holocaust survivor, if you know what I mean. But I don't, coaches are great. Like, if you can be a great coach. Like, you can be a great football coach because you're good at technicals and the rest, but no one likes getting advice from someone that they feel like isn't qualified to give the advice.
The irony is a lot of life coaches are doing it for themselves, not their clients. So,
well, what about yoga? Like, why is yoga? Why is becoming a yoga instructor? And I'm not saying this to offend anyone. Apologies, people get offended by this. But why has becoming a yoga instructor become a status symbol? Why is meditation become a status symbol? Like, why is it that people will go and meditate in a corner, but then they'll walk down the street and not help the little old lady across the road, or they'll crack it when their coffee takes 2 minutes longer than it should, or they'll crack it at a red light? It's like,
because Marcus, as you know, a lot of people aren't original, and it's easier to pick up a preformed identity. It's almost like a video game character that is into X, Y, and Z. And so, yep, that's going to be my identity, and that's easy, you know? And that identity stands for so much. But look, there's
have you ever thought of being a life coach?
That's what this is about. Give me a call, give me your money. But you know what's funny, Marcus? Because I know 3 life coaches. They're new life coaches, and they're not good friends of mine. I just know them, and I'm not even joking. I know what's going on in their life.
Yeah,
they are all so close to a breakdown, or they've had a breakdown, or like these people have no idea how.
It's scary. I should have laughed, but it's funny and scary at the same time.
But then exactly, that's why it's more about them, because I think if you identify as a life coach, then the byproduct of that is you must have your life in order. So they feel better about themselves because they can hide behind the role.
Yeah.
So it's there's definitely a joke in it somewhere. But mate, we do need to get to your 5 Corona tips for people. Right. You know, they're going to be simple tips, I hope, Pearcey. And
yes, some of them are controversial then.
Okay.
All right. So first one then, because you just spoke about, you know, a lot of people are copycats out there at the moment, like doing what everyone else is doing. This is a great time to use the quiet time constructively. One thing I've been talking a lot with people lately is look at the people that you love and respect, like let's call them your mentors, but then find out what you disagree with them about. So if you're a vegan, go to your favorite vegan and find out what you disagree with them about, because you've got to find your true identity. And this Corona time is a great time to do it. Everyone's consuming so much content at the moment, but they're almost feeling like they're going to live other people's lives. One thing to work out what makes you unique during this time is just, what do you disagree with? Mentors of any kind. What music of your favorite musicians do you not like? You know, and that's okay. So what makes you different? This is a really obvious one, and I'm sure you've been doing it because I've been seeing you doing it on TV and Instagram.
Hang on, is this still tip 1?
No, tip 2 now. Tip 2.
Right, tip 2.
You got to get outside and move. I know everyone right now is doing a 30-day challenge, is doing some Pilates, some yoga, but you know, 42% of dementia would disappear if we moved regularly, and by regularly 30 minutes a day. So if you don't want dementia, it's not a guarantee, but move regularly, 30 minutes a day. Just get in there. Number 3 is, this might be a little bit controversial. Switch off from mediocre media, which is, in other words, is mainstream media. Don't listen to 7, 9, 10, 2UE, 4GB, 3AW, and all the rest of it. Go and choose the media that you want to consume.
Yep.
Podcasts, naturally, you and I are both biased. But even things like watching something on Netflix that you want to watch, don't just let the fatigue of the day choose it for you. Go on there and find stuff that you actually genuinely want to watch and ponder it. What difference will it make in your life? Sometimes there's times just to switch off. That's great. But this is definitely a time for choose your own media. You've got to do it. Like 100%.
I'm glad you said that, PC, because I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day when I still see the status quo of morning TV shows, and they're so antiquated. And I'm like, how can people still be watching this? It's on loop. I can tell you what is going to happen in every 20-minute block. Yeah,
but don't you reckon this is where I feel like when I get interviewed, and probably when you get interviewed about this, people go, oh my gosh, I'd never thought of it that way. You and I have got a media training, so we see what's coming. We see why they're doing what they're doing. And not that they're bad. It's the thing. It's not good, bad. We've both got great friends in the media, so it's not personal. We're just saying that if you want a level of fulfillment and joy during these Corona times, the news isn't going to give it to you. Don't expect it to give it to you either.
Well, that's like why you've got to. You mentioned people with dementia. I think morning TV is obviously pitched and perfect for people with dementia, because you're going to see the same thing 20 minutes later. So if you forget, this is perfect. And you're going to get this. I'll tell you what it's going to be. So you get your news. There's going to be a live press conference about Corona from one of the premiers.
Yep.
They'll throw to a funny, in inverted commas, clip from social media.
Yep.
And there will be a entertainment reporter for 2 or 3 minutes on what's new on Netflix or Stan, what you can binge.
And in the absence of a press conference, there'll be a set expert on a certain type of hand sanitizer, masks, how do they get produced, when's the next batch coming, some topic expert related to Corona.
Well done. Yes, there will be an expert.
If you got time. All right, so we've mentioned, number 4 is call your long lost friends. You and I had a chat on the phone the other week. Call the people that you haven't spoken to for yonks. The people that you normally say, I don't have time to call X, Y, and Z. You got time now. It's Corona time. You got all the time in the world. Call your school friends. Call the friends that you lost contact with when you started having kids. Call the people that you just don't see all that often. They'd love to hear your voice. And guess what? They're not going to call you. They're not going to call you. So you've got to call them. It's just the way the world is. Like it or lump it. But you've got to call the people.
So true, mate.
Your life will be happier.
And also, you never know what can come of it. I mean, not that I wouldn't have got you on the podcast, Pearce. We were texting and emailing, and then you called me about a week ago, and we were having a good old gas bag. And I just thought, you know what, mate, this is too good a conversation not to share with people. So that's why we're here now. And yeah, I always like to sometimes think, Pearcey, what would you do if the world was ending tomorrow or tonight, midnight tonight? What do you do? And I like that ideology framework. Gets me going. Because
you know what I called it today? Because I'm 20 pages from finishing my book, and I'm on the chapter on spirit at the moment. What it is my term when I came up with it today. Tell me if you disagree or not. It's a little bit deep and meaningful. I know you need to go. You have a spiritual urgency. You have this urgency because if it all goes pear-shaped, you get hit by a bus on the way home from the beach tonight, you want to know that it's been a life well lived. So if you know that in advance that you're going to get hit by a bus tonight, it'll change the things that you do during the day.
I like it. I do like it. I don't like putting too much weight on life because I think that sometimes that can lead to too much expectation about what you need to achieve and what you should do. Just without sounding again too wanky, just live, have fun, move forward, and then we wake up tomorrow, hopefully.
And then the last one is just call your family. So I've just said call your friends, but you got to call your family because everyone needs support at the moment. It's really easy to get swept up in Netflix and everything else. Just get on the phone. Old fashioned, in the old days, we talked for 2 hours on the phone. How did we talk for 2 hours on the phone? Oh, we did it every night. How did we do it? We actually did that.
We did it because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
We lived in a time there was also it was pre-internet, bro. We were dial-up was just starting and
oh my gosh.
There was nothing on TV. We had just the main networks.
How did we live?
It was awesome. Call waiting. Beep, beep. I gotta go.
Call waiting. Oh my gosh. 212 or whatever it was. #2 or oh my gosh.
I remember.
Hold on, got another call coming through.
How much of a loser did you feel like when your friend was getting a call waiting and they put you on hold and you're on hold for like 10 minutes and you're like, mate,
they would never come back to you. And they would come back to you. Gee whiz. Telephone etiquette. Don't get me started.
And mate, have you been calling your mum, beautiful mum, Claire?
Yeah, spoke to Mother Darling last night, actually.
Oh, good.
Half an hour, good solid chunk. That's money in the bank, chatting to your parents. I know you and Jen have a regular chat. She leaves you voice messages if you don't pick up the phone. So, it's solid gold. You don't want to live with the regret of losing or hating on any family members. So very important this time to just nourish and water those relationships.
Especially
We're ending on a very deep and meaningful note.
Oh, no, but especially in Victoria, it's basically lockdown down there. And I know mum doesn't get out that much, so I try and call her most days or every second day. And I think that's a really good way to end.
Can you let Jen know that I have been wearing a nappy? I've got 4
Good,
kids.
mate.
One of them still in nappies. I have been wearing a nappy. Thank you, Jen.
Good. Yeah, the nappies have taken off, mate. Mum's a superstar. But everyone wants to get my mum on the show.
She needs her own brand of nappies, I reckon.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you something for free here.
Merch.
No, I'm working on a coffee table book about my mum.
Oh, the best.
And all it is, Piercy, is just the text messages she sent me. So
I love it. I love it.
You're a media and marketing guru. Now, do you think it should be a tangible coffee table book or an ebook?
No. It's okay. So I don't say this to denigrate the message of the book in one way, shape, or form, but I actually think it would be an awesome book to read whilst you are either having a cup of tea at the coffee at the couch or when you're sitting on the loo.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll give you a chuckle. All right, mate.
It could be one of them. You can have a big version and a little version.
Yeah. Well, I've already got the text ready. Now, Piercy, we do need to wrap it up. Plug your stuff, mate. How can people get in contact with you?
Mate, it's very kind of you. If people want to dive it deep into more the exceptional life type thing, podcast, Your Exceptional Life, short course, marcuspierce.com.au/magnificent. And if they love all the longevity work, 100 not out. And then on the socials, it's just at Marcus D for David, Pearce.
I love it. And of course,
I'll have to have you on Your Exceptional Life. I want to unpack a bit more of Your Exceptional Life, Ash Williams. A few things that we just haven't spoken about for a long time that need to be.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And of course, the Pre-Drinks album, I'll get that for you. It's on Spotify, but I'll get you the link. And also, I want to touch on. I'll talk to you again too on the podcast, PC, because I love that 7-year cycle talk because I think there's.
Oh yeah, right.
Really enjoy that. But mate, thanks for coming on the pod. Always great talking to you. We only really scraped the surface there, mate. But I think
we've only just begun.
Actually, PC, what song should we play out the listeners with? Okay, if
you're indulging me,
then I'm only going to give you one caveat. It can't actually no caveats. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want.
Were you going to say it can't be from Pre-Drinks?
I was going to say it can't be just a gigolo. Because
no. I was going to go because I just think it's a hidden gem that I'm going to just throw it out there and say that a lot of the listeners wouldn't know it or have heard it, but don't know what it's called and cannot find it on Spotify because it's not as easy to find as it sounds. Mm-hmm. I would play Moo Moo Land, Justified and Ancient by the KLF, and it will give people a bounce in their step during these Corona times more than most other songs, I reckon.
I love
Tammy
it.
Wynette, take it away.
Tammy Wynette?
Yeah, she's the vocalist in it. That's the thing. It's the special.
You know what? I just got chills, Piercy, which means it's going to be a great song. And thanks for coming on. This is it. KLF, Marcus Pearce. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks, legend. Thanks, Ash.